Hey, it's Bryan.
Hey, it's Barry.
And welcome to another episode of the Collecti-Bros podcast. Topic of this episode, dead games that are on disc. Find this an interesting topic because it's kind of the antithesis of like our whole reason of collecting and the whole podcast, right? I think it's a very interesting conversation, kind of what the future of the medium holds going forward. And truthfully, doing research for this episode, there's older games than I realize that this affects. But first, can I welcome you all to please join us on social media at Collecti-Bros Pod on all... What's it called, bro? Apps? Jesus, on all applications, all social media. We are at Collecti-Bros Pod on all social media. Also, please feel free to check out the YouTube, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. The YouTube's went up quite a bit recently, so I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and watching.
Too long.
I know. All right, well, another thing we do, pick up some plays. Barry, what have you been picking up? What have you been playing?
To keep it short and sweet, I've got one thing I picked up recently, Sakura Wars for the PS4. I finally found a copy of this that wasn't $40. I was being stingy and I didn't want to play it, or at least pay for it for that much money. It is by Sega, and it's like an action beat 'em up with robots.
Nice. Sounds up my alley.
Sort of robot mechs with swords. I don't know. It looks up my alley, so I picked that one up.
Fighting robots are always it's hard to ever pass it up.
But it's like it's like anime.
Oh, okay.
But then like sometimes they wear robot suits.
Interesting.
Not like Gundam. Think more like old style robot suits. So not super high tech. Another one I had been looking for was Dark Rose Valkyrie. This one was also one that I had seen for a really long time that was just like too high out of my price range. Both of these are PS4. This one's an Idea Factory game. Same deal. It looks up my alley. You put anime people on the front and like that's it.
Yeah, anytime we're game hunting and I see like an anime chick on the front, I'm like, Barry game, let me see if she has this.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about this game other than it's Idea Factory and Compile Heart, which I've played some of their games in the past, so this one I don't have any information on other than it is an RPG, and I was like, alright, you know what, I don't have this one. Grow in the PS4 library.
Nice.
And
good time for it.
I mostly picked up PS4 and PS5 games, but I finally got, after months and months and months of searching, Planescape Torment and Icewind Dale.
Finally.
I know, finally, for physical on the PS4, so...
It's one we've been looking for you for a long time, it feels like.
Yeah, I thought Baldur's Gate would be the harder one to find, because I originally had all of these. They made the Skybound Collector's Edition in the big box, and it had, like, a map and a little beholder roll thing and a dice, and I got it for Xbox because you all said you were going to play it with me. And then I realized that never was going to happen. Do
you not remember the backlog-ish episode?
So I realized that was never going to happen, and I didn't really need this set, so I ended up selling it to Nate since he didn't have it yet. A la, you guys never played it with me because nobody owns it.
I've got the standard editions of all of them. I wanted that collector's edition. It's cool. One? Yeah.
It is really cool. It's just, it was a space thing. I didn't have the space for it all. So I wanted to end up picking them all up on PlayStation, and that was the last one that I needed. So, nice. What about you? What have you picked up?
Well, as you alluded to, we're going to change this up a little bit. I had a huge haul, and I'm not going to sit here and just read a list because that's boring. If y'all want to see what we actually picked up, highly suggest you check out the Discord. I post everything I pick up. Other members post as well. Link for that is in the show notes. Look at that plug. But
too long.
Yeah, some of the some of the highlights I picked up. One I've been looking for a while. It's pretty top end game is Gundam versus Zeon. I've obviously got into Gundam very huge. I'm trying to track down all the Gundam games. This is one I've been looking for. It's an expensive one. And I found a really clean copy of it.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
It's like $150.
I thought that was Zeta.
I might have
that was
wrote my notes wrong, but let me look.
Federation versus Xeon is not expensive.
Versus Zeta, excuse me.
Okay, yeah, I was like, well, wait a second.
Good catch. Yeah, I just paid like $150 over retail. It's fine. No, I got a good deal on it. I had 20% off coupon. It's one I've been after. You might see this one in the future, y'all.
Surprise! It'll be one we do this year.
Yeah. But super excited to get it. I've heard it's an actually really good game. A lot of these PS2 Gundam games from that era are supposed to be like awesome, so I'm really excited to dig into some of these Gundam games.
There's one that it's like kind of a sleeper because it's called MS Saga.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but it's got like the two people and like there's like one person like in the arms of another like laying on the ground, and it says MS Saga, and there's like a really super close-up, vague, like, zoom-in of the RX-78 head in the background.
Oh, that one's expensive, too.
Yeah, but it's so kind of... Okay, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. That is the one I'm thinking of, but I thought it was one helmet instead of two. So it's a Zaku back there, too.
No Zaku, boy, no Zaku. I had to, I'm sorry.
But that one, like, at first glance, especially if you saw the spine, you're like, oh, MS Saga.
You would miss this as a Gundam game.
You'd probably miss it, because the first time I ever saw it, I missed it as a Gundam game. But I was like, oh, this is some weird PS2 anime game that I don't have. And then I said, wait a second, that's a Gundam in the background.
Gundamu, bro.
Right, so that one is pretty hard to find.
Yeah, I think it's the next one on my list as far as like expensive Gundam games, minus some of the stupid random Wonder Swan bullshit.
Yeah.
As far as like NTSC goes, I'm definitely on the lookout for that. But I had a crazy little import haul, and again, check the Discord for the rest of them. But the main highlight I want to talk about is I spelled it wrong. My goddamn notes. What the fuck's wrong with me?
While you're looking for your notes, I think MS Saga and maybe there's an SD Gundam. That's not just, like, robot fighting. I think it's, like, an actual RPG or, like, a turn-based. So, I think MS Saga is an actual, like, turn-based RPG.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not, like, a robot fighter. So, I'm curious if that's the only one like that, but...
Yeah, so, sorry, back to my dumbass. I picked up a couple RGG titles that were imports. The big one I want to highlight is RGG Kenzan. It's the only Yakuza game to never come to the West.
RGG.
Yes, I'm not going to try to pronounce the Japanese.
Okay,
but the series is called Ryuga Gatu. I'm pretty sure that's not right, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, they actually titled their games just RGG. That's why RGG Studios is what they're called, you know. But Kenzan's one that never came to the States since we did getting the remake for Ishin. But this one's, again, it's Imperial Japan. It's supposed to be great. It's got kind of the same premises where the Yakuza characters actually play historical characters. It's one that's just dying for a remake. Again, the only way you can get it's PS3 in Japan, so glad to get a copy of it. I've been looking for it, and every time people have these games, they always just overprice them. Like, they're pretty affordable, man. I'm talking under $20. This one retains, because I said they never import it. It's literally the only way you can play it. Super excited to get that. It's one I've actually been actively looking for. It's just you don't stumble across the import shit here in the middle of the country, you know?
Yeah.
But finally, other cool pickups I get. We'll probably do some unboxing videos. The last limited run one we did pretty well. But I got this really cool Contra Operation Golga collector's edition with like the action figures, and dude, it's sick. Like, it's super sick. I had to take a peek before we did the unboxing, and I was like, oh, I can't believe it. These are so cool.
I will say, if you find imports that you want here, grab them, because these tariffs and shipping prices and some international companies not using a lot of carriers to the U.S. anymore. I know the proxy website that I use is
skyrocketed.
Absolutely outside my price range now. I can't buy anything through the proxy site.
The days of these stores buying pallets of, PS1 import games on the cheap, and it's over, bro. Like, for the time being anyway.
Nobody wants to ship here because it costs too much.
We'll see in 4 years.
Nobody wants to buy anything to ship here because it costs too much, so...
Yeah. But yeah, super excited to get... It's crazy, how limited run is. I ordered a lot of stuff so long ago, and it's finally starting to show up. But super excited for this Contra. I heard the game's kind of ass, but I'm a big action figure guy, so to have more Contra figures other than the NECA ones, like, I think they'll look really cool next to each other. The paint's really cool on these. Like, these are slick. So excited to get that. What about playing? I heard we play our games, too. What have you been playing?
Marvel Rivals, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I started playing Witchwood.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things.
Well, I played and finished Witchwood, so it was a nice game. It was 12 hours maybe. It wasn't terrible, but you play as this witch. The art style is really pretty too. I really like the art style. It's almost set up almost like a storybook. Shadow box, if that makes sense. You kind of have to see it to understand it in action, but it feels like a storybook art style, and you play as this witch who wakes up and she's got like a bucket on her head. It's like a bucket or like a witch's like cauldron, and she wakes up in her house and this goat is like, hey, we made a deal, you have to go get these 12 souls of these like really mean people to save the life of this lady that's like laying on an altar next to your house. And you're like, okay, I guess. I don't remember like why I made this deal. So there's like kind of an air of mystery to it. It's nothing special. You run around different areas and you collect items and then you craft items. It's really just a whole giant fetch quest game. Like every single quest is a fetch quest game. There's not really any puzzles per se. Because there's a button where you can hover over things and it'll give you recipes to solve. Oh, you're going to need fur from a dog, so you got to throw a little piece of meat to the dog and then go use scissors to snip it and then pick it up. That's kind of really the most of what this game does.
Yeah.
So it's really straightforward. It's a lot of backtracking and a lot of fetching. The little story snippets are interesting, but easy platinum, because it's an unmissable platinum. As long as you finish the game, you get the platinum
My
trophy.
kind of game.
Yeah, so I really liked that game. I had it limited run made physical copies of it, and I was like, you know what, I'll pick up this game after Batman, because I finished Batman, and I was like, I need something. I need something that's not like Batman.
Yeah, you got something big coming up too that you're waiting to play.
Yeah,
so
well, yeah, there's a problem because like I finished Witchwood, and then I said, oh, I don't know, what am I looking for? And my stupid ass decided to start playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, because I was like, I finally want to see what the hype is all about. And I'm really liking this game so far. I'm not super far into it, but if you don't like save scumming, like, don't play this game.
Yeah.
Because there's some bullshit situations where I got caught like trying to steal something or sneaking around. I was like, I wasn't even sneaking around. I just happened to be in an area I didn't know I couldn't be in. Like one, I didn't know that. Not
like they had police tape back then to tell you.
It was I was in a city, and so I needed to wait until the nighttime to like do something or to talk to somebody. So I waited, and then as soon as I loaded in, it was nighttime. A guard comes up and was like, "Hey, you can't walk around the streets without a light. It's illegal." And then I did a crime. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know this. It's the first time I've been out at night.
Right.
But it's kind of like a hardcore survival. I don't want to say hardcore because it's a little too much, but there's a lot of things in that game like crafting. It's not just, oh, you make two things and you go to an anvil and click, click, boom, like Skyrim, and it's completed. Like there's an actual, I don't know what they're called, like sharpening wheels that you have to sit on, and then you have to move the analog sticks to get the right angle on the sword. Cool. The alchemy, I went to an alchemy station, and you have to be able to read the book, but your character can't read. So it's a bunch of jumbled up words for you to decipher unless you go through the game and find someone who can teach you how to read.
Whoa.
And then you got to put the items in the pot with a certain thingy, and you have to use a little blower, and you got to grind them with a mortar and pestle. Like, it's a whole thing of just doing that, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do too, so it's pretty intensive.
It sounds super immersive, and it's one I picked up the day it came out because I was like, this looks really interesting and unique, and just haven't got around to it, and it sucks.
Yeah, it is a very immersive game. The story is interesting so far. It's not a 4-hour tutorial. I don't know why people say that. It's false. It's one of those games where the game progresses normally as a game would, and then it teaches you the things that you need to know as it goes. Yeah. So it's not like, I hate games where you drop into it and it's just screen after screen after screen tutorial and you have to read a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I hate that. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, here's 20 minutes of everything this game can't do mechanically. Now you better remember it.
Right.
That's terrible. So this one, like, it does the thing where it's like, oh, hey, I need you to go get this, and you got to go find this thing, and then you learn about this mechanic, or then you learn about how to operate a horse, and then some time goes by, and then you learn about how to lockpick, or then
slowly
you learn about, how to fist fight or whatever.
That's way better.
It's not a 4-hour tutorial.
Right.
Like, I don't know. So
people like the bitch, bro.
I guess. It's just, I don't know, maybe people are impatient, but
that's a fact.
It has graphical jank out the asshole, for sure. It looks really pretty. The character models suck, and then sometimes they get stuck. Animation stuck on a lot of stuff. It's actually kind of comical. So
do the salami thing you told me how to
yeah. I had to go. There was a guy I had to talk to, and I went up and talked to him, and he was sitting down. And as he was like pulling a piece of salami out of his pocket, I had engaged to talk to him, so it engaged the standing up animation to talk to me, but it didn't put the salami away, so the salami was just stuck in his hand. And then he was walking around and then like riding on this horse with like just this like salami hand. It was really funny. I didn't get a picture of it, but I like it. The problem is Monster Hunter comes out next week.
Yeah.
I think.
2 weeks maybe? Yeah, soon.
No, this will come out next week, so it'll be this weekend from the recording. Yeah. And then once Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, like my life is over, and I'll probably play nothing ever again. So we'll see.
I got that one pre-order day one also.
Bryan said he'd play it with me, but we'll see that track record.
I'll play it with you. I just know you're gonna have to carry me eventually, man. I'm not the best Monster Hunter.
That's fine.
I'm excited though. I love the game, and playing with friends is like an experience. I was even telling Sherry like, hey, it's more like Worlds, because she played Wilds for a little. Not Wilds. What's the Rise? And she did not like it, and I was like, no, this one's more like World. And she's kind of been like, hey, if you guys are gonna, I'm like, all right, I'll get another copy, whatever.
Yeah, so. I would love to play with some more people. Yeah. So very excited about that. But that's what I've been playing. Cool. But I can tell you about for the next 4 or 5 episodes, it's gonna be Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So, what have you been playing?
As far as I've been playing, I had a cool little birthday present. They finally released the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection on my birthday for Xbox. So I was like, achievements, yes, I need this. Mm-hmm. I still want a physical copy on PlayStation or Switch. Xbox isn't going to get a physical copy, which sucks, but I wanted it for the achievements. Like, these games are my childhood. So that was a nice little birthday present. Went ahead and bought it. I've started out playing X-Men Children of Adam. Mm-hmm. That's like, I remember being like young playing that shit. And it was just like, perfect port. Like, it runs great, it looks great. There's like CRT filters and stuff you can do on it. There's tons of accessibility options, like difficulty sliders. Like, it's a great little collection and great little port. The achievements are fun. It's not just like beat the game. Mm-hmm. There's actually some variety. And man, what a good time. I forgot how much a banger like the credit song is for the X-Men game. And it has like all the sprites walk across the screen. It's just cool. so nostalgic, man. Like, I love it. I was literally just smiling ear to ear playing the whole time, getting whipped by Sentinels and Magneto. Like, what an awesome birthday present. Also started Atlas Fallen. Thanks for the recommendation, because Sherry and I were looking for something to play together, and I was like, hey, this is co-op. Like, let me know what you think. Does this look cool? And she was like, this looks really fun. And keep trying to get footage for it for this podcast. But
like, still messed up?
Yeah, I uninstalled the game, and it's still, so like, for clarity out there, I don't know what's going on. I'm playing the Game Pass version, and there's basically just like, the textures aren't loading. They just load like checkerboards.
I literally never had this issue. And
Sherry's like, what are you talking about?
Played, yeah.
I was literally like, I can't tell what's going on. Everything's a checkerboard. And she's like, you're being stupid. Stop. You're fucking with me. I'm like, no, like, I can't see collectibles, because like literally the floor, the walls, it's like it's not rendering. But
it's not like you're not the only one, it sounds like.
Yeah, I looked for solutions what to do, and everyone's like, just uninstall it, reinstall it. It was cool the second time I did it, and then it popped up again. So I don't know. Honestly, though, the game's a blast. It's very, like, pick up and play, hard to master kind of combat. I know you briefly talked about it, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but what a great game. Just kind of set your brain to neutral, explore a decent-sized map, play with a co-op buddy. Like, me and Sherry are having an absolute blast with it. And it goes back to the topic of, like, us not having AA games. Like, what a sweet, sweet reminder of times that used to be.
Right.
Super fun. Like, it's fast-paced. The combat's excellent. There's variety, like weapon switching, perk switching. Co-op adds another level dynamic. Like, I can't recommend this game enough. Is there a physical version of this game?
Yeah.
There is?
I've been looking for it on PS5, but every single time I find it, it's way too expensive.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it, honestly.
Like, I'll keep an eye out for you then if you want one, but like every time I see one for a PlayStation, it's like
like $40.
I'm okay with paying like $25 for this.
Yeah. Especially if I've already played it, you know.
Yeah, like because I played it on Game Pass as well, and I would replay this game again on PlayStation. I had a really
there's a
really
limited edition with the steelbook. That's cool.
The Exchange has that.
Oh damn.
When we went up there, they had one. I didn't look into it because all it is a steelbook and a little poster or something.
Yeah.
But
it looks expensive.
I don't know how much it is.
So it's going for like $70. I mean, that's the thing. I've never seen it. I don't even see the physical version, just normal. But I do want one. I do want one. It's a really fun game. I definitely think it's worth your time, y'all. Like, you should check it out. It's on Game Pass if y'all got access to Game Pass. even with the graphical issues. Like it's not taking away my fun. So that's a big thing for me. This month's also been crazy for server closures and boosting, like absolutely insanity. I think there's like 12 games closing, so I've had to kind of pick my poison. I've been playing a lot of golf club. I'm not going to bore y'all with golf, but we're basically rigging it to be millionaires to get that achievement. I've got a buddy. We basically started like 5 clubs, and we're just like doing all the user created one holes, and like it gives you money. So I have like my account, the kid's account, Sherry's account, and we're all just combining money to get a millionaire. We'll pass the money back and forth. And the biggest one I'm most proud of is like there's a game called Hood Legends and Outlaws. I don't know if I talked about it previously. It's like a Robin Hood.
You might have said that you were
asymmetric
boosting.
Game. Yeah, it's actually a really fun game. I can see why it died because it's a live service game. But the idea is great. It's like Robin Hood, asymmetric. Like you have to steal the treasure chest from the state. Put about 65 hours into that, grinding against the computer, grinding against alt accounts. But that's done. So thankfully, with Monster Hunter coming up, the server closers are dying. I'll be able to play some Monster Hunter. So yeah, been playing a lot. It's exciting times. A lot of good games out. A lot of good games coming this year. So with that being said, topic of the episode, games dying. Dead games. The antithesis of our hobby.
Yep.
So I think the biggest starting point for us being a collectible podcast is like, are these games even worth your time? I guess we'll go over a quick overview. So the type of games we're referring to are games that are physically on a disc that don't work anymore, don't have any data, or maybe it's just because I needed more footage for the episode, very limited access to data.
And I will say, this is console. Like, there's tons of PC games out there that are like old, like big box, but like small box, big box size that are technically on a CD-ROM, but they need like a key code, and then the games don't exist anymore. Like, we're not talking about those.
Right, that's a console. Different beast.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too. There's digital, there's millions, right? So, like, that's a totally different thing.
I've got apps on my phone that I have installed and won't even load.
Right.
Because they, Mobius, Final Fantasy, I still have it on my phone, and they canceled it, and I can load it, and then it just crashes and goes back to the home screen. So, like, there's tons of digital ones that don't exist anymore.
Millions. But this is interesting, too, because the idea of like, hey, data's on this disc, right? I think the best example is like Destiny 2 or Overwatch. Mm-hmm. You have a copy of a game, you put it in, nothing happens. So like Destiny, it went free to play. Overwatch, y'all already know, it went to Overwatch 2. There's different examples for different games, but
yeah, I only have a copy of Destiny 2 because I got the collector's edition.
You got the one with the bag, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I'll put the Destiny thing on my shelf, whatever.
And that one specifically, just to not get hung up on one game, I don't want to sit here and do a list, but that one is upsetting to me because I loved the Destiny 2 campaign. And Sherry and I played the dog shit out of it when it first came out.
Yeah, it's like unavailable now.
Yeah, you can't even get to anything.
The first couple extra expansions too, you can't get them.
And it sucks, like me, I bought 2 copies of the limited edition. Mm-hmm. And it's like, all right, I have a steelbook with the fucking disc that's a pizza cutter.
I had a Ghost for a while.
Oh, yeah, from the first one?
Yeah, the stupid, ridiculous, giant octagonal box that had the little ghost inside the middle.
Yeah, I wanted that so bad.
It was like, it was shaped like a loot crate or whatever from the game, I think. And then inside it had a life-size ghost.
It's pretty sick.
And now, I got rid of it at the time because I was like, nobody's playing Destiny with me and this game's kind of bad. And that was when, what's his name, was still voicing Ghost.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
Yeah, that was still Peter, that was Peter Dinklage Ghost, period. So it was like not a good game. And I'm like, this thing is expensive and like, I'm not having a great time and the Ghost is really cool, but like, I could make do without this. It takes up way too much space. And, like, now I wish I did have a Ghost.
I don't see him very often.
Yeah, I would love to have another one, because it was electronic, and you turn him on, and he would talk.
Was it Peter Dinklage?
Yeah.
Damn.
So, it was really cool. At least I remember it was Peter Dinklage, unless this is some kind of mandala thing, where it was an alternate reality.
Hey, bro,
and I'm, like, totally
we just get off 12-hour shifts, like, whatever.
So, if I'm wrong, like, please let me know. But I swore it was a Peter Dinklage era.
Either way, that's pretty sick. But yeah, it's upsetting, like, buying a collector's edition like that, and then just being like, you have a free pizza cutter now.
I have another one like that, too.
Which one?
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
PS3.
yeah.
I have the special edition. When that game came out, I went to a GameStop, and it was the only GameStop. It was the only one left in every single GameStop in the state.
Holy shit.
And the guy was like, yeah, the only reason I have this is whoever pre-ordered it canceled it. But I have one. And I said, give me that shit. And I played it for maybe a couple hours. This is like Realm Reborn when it first came out. So it was like better than the original launch, but it was still kind of doo-doo. And it was subscription based on console, so that was hard for me to eat. But like now that PS3 shut down, it's a pizza cutter with some goodies.
Right.
So I just kind of have it on my Final Fantasy shrine as like, this is a thing I have, but it doesn't do anything. It's also got one of those, they're like a keychain where it's like a security token. Like, I don't know why, but Square Enix does security token logins as well for your account. And it has a physical security token keychain thing. It's really weird. So.
See, like, at least for that, you collect Final Fantasy. Like,
I do, yeah.
So for games like Destiny, where it's like, I like Destiny, but...
I'm not a Destiny head.
I bought this fucking... The thing was like, I think it was $70 back then, maybe $80. I don't think it was a GameStop exclusive. I don't remember. But, man, it's what a letdown. Like, you buy a collection edition of a game and you just know it's not going to work. I guess for me, it's a lot easier pill to swallow if it is something you like. If it was a Spider-Man game or if it was a, I don't know, Halo, I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
But this sucks, and a lot of these are fucking worthless now.
Now you're like, okay, if you don't want it, how are you supposed to offload it?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to buy this? Every time I see MAG in a store.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think MAG has a single-player mode, at least, or some kind of local... It doesn't load at all.
It goes to the start screen, then it stops.
Well, I feel like I was reading... I feel like I was reading somewhere where you could do a LAN MAG or something like that.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Or like a private server somewhere.
A lot of these games have private servers, and even like Warhawk's the best example I know because I did a little research on it. They have an app you can install on your phone.
Oh, really?
That tricks your PS3 that it's connected to a LAN.
Interesting.
But it's really online. So it kind of does what the Nintendo Switch does through the phone online service. So it's interesting that like fans have made some of these games like semi-salvageable, and that's a way easier pill for me to swallow. But at the same time, like you're violating your user agreement and you're going to risk your account being banned. Is that worth it to play a game of Warhawk?
Yeah, that's true.
You'd have to use an alt account or something, you know, but...
And I guess run through a VPN 24/7.
Yeah.
So...
I would love to play MAG again because MAG was awesome. Like, just ahead of its time. And that's the thing.
There's a lot of games I'd love to play again that just don't exist anymore.
A lot of these games were kind of just ahead of their time. They're just... I mean, majority are online, obviously. That's why they don't work. But even I think MAG's the crown jewel of like, hey, you were just a little too far ahead. Like even Battlefield didn't have that big of a lobby, you know. But even then, if you go to a used game store, MAG's like $7 or $8, and you can push start.
You can't do anything with it. I know.
So
every time I see it, I'm like,
I
what
got
the
footage
fuck?
for it for this episode. Because like, spoiler alert, half the footage if you aren't watching YouTube, just me pushing start and the game not working. But it doesn't do shit.
Yeah, the YouTube video for this episode is real entertaining.
Yeah. That's what's funny. I did have to kind of bend the rules a little bit. So like Evolve, we were talking about if it has single player content. It's got a shitty campaign, so I ran through a couple levels, and like Little Big Planet's the same way. But you don't buy Little Big Planet to play the campaign.
Yeah.
You buy it for your user generated content and shit you create. Like the heart and soul of the game's gone now. It's just a skeleton, it's a former shell. Even a lot of the DLC, like the characters I had, I was trying to like switch the costume on the footage, and I'm like, oh, it's just black because it's not rendering. Sucks, man. Like it's kind of heartbreaking, honestly.
I think the one I miss the most is the original Defiance.
Oh god, dude, I have it on my notes.
Yeah, I know you were going to talk about it too, because like we all three before it completely shut down were really trying to like play it. I think you guys were trying to get at least as many achievements as you could, but it was so broken that it was so hard to load. And, you know, I remember because like I like did the quest to get the yellow or the orange Challenger that looked like the Dukes of Hazzard Challenger.
Oh yeah,
or it was like styled. It was like an homage to it. But and I was like, this is so awesome. I have this car, and I remember trying to catch up to you guys. And I drove this car, and I flew over a hill, and then all of a sudden the car disappeared, and I was driving around like Wonder Woman's plane. Because there's just the car was gone, and then my guy would be glitching through the air like I was lagging. Because, like, the game server just couldn't keep up because it was so fun.
It was so broken by the end, dude.
It made for some laughs, that's for sure, when we were playing. But I was like, man, this is heartbreaking to, like, see it. It's like, it's like watching your pet take its like last gasp. Like everyone knows how. I mean, that's probably even worse. I'm not even gonna compare it as like equal.
Defiance is very close though.
But sometimes, like especially experiencing it in real time, you're
Yeah.
like, man, and like knowing it's coming, you're like, fuck.
Like all
this
jokes aside, it is
sucks.
kind of sad, especially when you have memories attached to it, man. And I think the online games, you know, you are playing with your friends and shit. It does hurt a little bit more. That's another one with the collector's edition I forgot about. I don't have. I wonder what that runs for. With the Hellbug statue, I would totally get that.
I don't think I used to have that one too, and it turned into a space issue, so I got rid of it.
Damn.
Nate has it, which is still
Oh,
cool to see. We actually found that at
it's like $30.
bookstore.
I'd
Yeah,
totally
it's not
get one, bro.
expensive at all. It's got a cool little Hellbug. I don't think it has a steelbook. Maybe it has an art of like one of those sideways ones with the hardcover.
Nice.
So
I just want the Hellbug, bro.
and it's cool because the box that the Hellbug comes in is like one of those like cages.
Yeah.
And you have to open up the lid like from the top, and it folds out, and it's magnetic.
That's sick.
It's pretty cool.
Doing research for this episode, there's more I realized that have collector editions than I thought.
Yeah.
And two, some of these games go way back. There's PS2 games that don't work, the EverQuest stuff. It's really interesting, man.
Oh, EverQuest. EverQuest still works on PC.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At least it did like 10 years ago when I was playing it, I admit, now that I think about it.
Let's look real quick. But I know the PS2 ones. I know there's like fan servers and stuff, but then I had a pretty dedicated...
I feel like it was free to play, but I feel like I remember playing EverQuest 2. And now that I'm realizing how long ago it was, I wouldn't be shocked if it was shut down.
Yeah, it's still operational.
Oh, it is still? Okay,
Considered
cool.
an active game. Interesting. Huh. But yeah, PC only, obviously. The consoles, you're going to get the short end of the stick every time. But I think something else, other than talking about, you know, the older games, some of these newer games that...
They're getting canned so fast.
This is going to affect us more than you realized here shortly, because a lot of these games require like a day one patch. Think about how many games you have where it was like unplayable. And I'm not talking about like 360 PS3. I'm talking God of War Ragnarok. Do you remember how broken that was without the patch? You can't do anything.
I didn't play Ragnarok.
It was like notorious because people were getting it early from Walmart and shit and putting it in before the patch was live, and they're like, oh my god, this game's unplayable. So like, what do you do when the PS5 servers go down and you can't download the patch? They're going to have to think of something.
I am really curious, and there's some... We're not really going to see it until PS4 and Xbox One start phasing out, and that stuff really starts shutting down. Because it wasn't really... I feel like the PlayStation 3 and the 360 were the last generation to really utilize, like, everything is on the disc.
Right.
Maybe we'll get some updates later. But, like, day one stuff is really...
So common.
What is it? What are we on? 8th generation now?
Something like that.
Some fucking... I don't know.
The shittiest one.
PS4 and Xbox One, right? So we're going to start seeing that when they completely really shut those down, or maybe turn off the, like, online connection servers, or who's to say how many years that's going to be far away, but... We'll really see it in those games.
Scary future.
And so, you know, I can have a PS4 collection and be like, cool, I have all these games to play later, but how much of your Witcher 4 is going to be like, that's base game Witcher 4, man.
Right.
That's before any of the 4.0 updates or anything like that. It's not going to have it.
The one that comes from mind of me is Fallout New Vegas.
Or I'm saying Witcher 4. It's Witcher 3.
Witcher
I'm
3.
sorry, I'm blown.
I
My
know what
brain
you mean.
said Witcher, and I'm like, Witcher 4.
I mean, shit, it's probably gonna have the same issue.
No, it absolutely will have the same issue.
The one that comes to mind for me though is Fallout New Vegas, because I left for, this is back when midnight releases were a thing. Like, I was at work working overtime, left work at midnight to go pick up New Vegas, got home, put it in, and the motherfucker's head starts spinning like the thing, and I'm like, oh god, this game's just breaking as I play it. And I played it for 15 minutes. So I was like, I'll just wait for a patch.
Game's still broken.
Yeah, but now it's like, if you play the disc copy, you're fucked.
Yeah.
There's no...
Guess what? You don't have community mods.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's console collectors, man. I'm telling you, this is
I
going to
mean,
be a
to
bigger
be
issue
fair,
than y'all
like,
realize.
do you know if the Ultimate Edition has the updated version
It's not on disc. Nope.
Ooh.
Download a patch.
Oofa.
Yep. It's another one that comes to mind is like LA Noire on Switch. It's a cartridge, right? But it says right on the box, you need a download to play this game. So like, what happens when the Switch?
It's basically like a licensing cartridge of licensing.
Yeah, and you can't even use the Switch cartridge as a pizza cutter. Like, you know, you just got a thing you can look that tastes like shit. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, at least we have fancy pizza cutters, you know. Overwatch.
I mean, I guess if you get enough Switch tiles, you can make like checkers or something.
Oh yeah, you used to get arts and crafts.
Label up, label down.
Get creative. That's a thing. So like, I have a couple of these games, right? I mean, I'm a
Nintendo Switch scale mail.
Yeah. I collect, pretty much everything, but the more I think about it, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of these in my collection that are gonna be added to this list, dude. It's a scary thought. It really is.
I don't think I have anything as of now, other than Final Fantasy, but I don't really feel like that one counts. I don't think I have anything that I can't pop in and play currently.
Is there any of these, like, anything you think off the top of your head that you would get or even like try to pursue? Like, is this a waste of time for you?
No, because I buy my games to play those games.
Right.
Like, I don't want to buy the games just to be like, cool, I have this, and a disc doesn't work. At that point, I might as well buy a repro.
Right. You're so rational.
Still doesn't work anyways. But
that makes a lot of sense. For
I
me,
don't know, like, I might as well buy graded games, man. Yeah. Like, fuck it. Let's just go ahead. Let's just go all out.
Dude, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should send all of our ones that don't work in for grading.
Shit.
And then just flip them.
Actually get some price out of them now. I'm about to look it up. I want to look up.
Yeah, dude.
Who's the grading company for games?
WADA.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the fucking scared.
Purge them from my brain. Let me type in a WADA.
Look that up.
A WADA graded bag.
So, you'll see it in the video. I have a GameStop exclusive Battleborn that comes with like a little shitty figure. Apparently there's 6 different variations of them, and Battleborn doesn't work at all. You can't play the tutorial, you can't play the menu. As soon as you push start, it's like, oh, thanks for playing community, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think it'd be hilarious to have these 6 little shitty GameStop exclusive statues, and they come in this giant box. It's so pointless. It's in the video. But stupid shit like that, just because I love dumb... You know how it is. Like when I saw that Collecti-Bros bear, I was like, I have to have this.
Yeah.
It's so far up my alley just to have these dumb Battleborn figures, which that's another one, man. Fun game, just wrong time. You're going to launch 2 weeks before Overwatch. Like, whew. Gearbox was filling themselves when they released that. But other than that, man, I would probably grab a copy of Mag just for the memories. I thought I had it. I don't know what happened to it. But even then, like, I don't want to pay $8 for a copy that I can't do anything with. Like, you can't run the tutorial, dude.
You know what? Here's the thing. Is so far I've searched Battleborn, Mag, and fuck, I already forgot about the other one that I searched. And there's no WADA graded ones like available for sale.
Wait, so we could be Pop 1.
So we could be on these games if we really wanted to. What's another one you got on your list? Warhawk,
Overwatch.
Oh, I bet you there'll be
there's Overwatches.
There's got to be an Overwatch.
So another
All right, here we go. Brand new factory seal Warhawk PlayStation 3 Greatest Hits WADA 9.6 you can get for $135.
Steal.
Has any sold? That is a different question.
Dude, we got to get a Defiance Hellbug Collectors, encapsulate that big bastard.
That's just a huge thing. Let's see if there's even a Defiance out there.
I wonder how much it costs to grade a fucking game. I would do it
Especially
for the lulz.
one that big. That would be insane.
You kidding me? Pop 1 Defiance Hellbug.
Oh my god.
Just take it to the shows and be like, I need 10 grand for it. It's one of one.
There's a 2016 Overwatch Origins Edition sealed WADA 9.6 for $250 with 12 watchers.
It's people like you and me be like, look at this shit.
Look at this, see if it actually still... Do you remember, I don't know if it's still there, I actually wonder if I'm still watching it, but there was some kind of Final Fantasy VII that was like $800.
Oh, like the fan-made one where the kid tried to draw it?
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if we pulled it. It was on my watch list. Let me look.
It's not on my recent watch list, so it must be gone forever. That sucks. Ended. That was iconic. I was like, because it was so many people watching that. Here you go. Overwatch Collector's Edition, Origin Steelbook, graded 9.8, $375.
See, at least that has a statue and a steelbook. Still.
No, it's just a steelbook.
Grading. It's just a steelbook?
Yes.
Fuck out of here.
$375.
Ridiculous. I mean, if y'all need more proof it's a scam, just do your own research. But
the 9.8 Final Fantasy, $6,000. 7 sealed.
Steal. What are you doing?
I gotta close my phone. I can't look at graded games. They make my blood pressure go up.
I will say, there's the only one of these kind of games that I know of that's like even remotely interesting to me as far as a collectible is Limited Run Games actually did a version of Lawbreakers that's like a collector's edition. which is interesting as fuck because nothing works with that game, but it's super cheap. I don't remember what it comes with. Let me look. Yeah, so it's literally like $20 for the collector's edition with like a huge box. It's got like an alternate cover. It's got a journal, physical copy of the game, a vinyl for $20. That seems cheap as fuck, but yeah, when your vinyl record's more modern than your pizza cutter disc, that's saying something. That's the only one I think of as interesting. Look, for someone like me, I'd get it, but also I totally understand the rational side of like, why would you collect these things? It's totally pointless. It's literally the antithesis of our hobby. Why you and me collect physical?
I mean, that's a good question. Like, especially going forward, I know you're buying these games, so like, what's stopping you from saying no?
Yeah.
Because I remember the last time we were out, you were like, Exoprimal, finally a physical copy, and like, Exoprimal ain't gonna last much longer.
Nope.
So what is the point of buying them now when you could wait until they die and then buy it for $5?
Yeah.
Or is it even worth buying?
The biggest argument against physical, right? I think it's like this, especially in this modern age. Cartridge shit, sure. That's a different conversation.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm talking about. But like 360, PS3 on up, even some PS2, it kind of turns the whole argument on its head of why I collect physical, and I thought that was a really interesting topic. I mean, for me, I'm still gonna do it. I'm sick. I'm far beyond help. I'm the one actively searching for these battle board figures. You know what I mean? Like I'm an outlier, but I will say, in the modern age of everything getting remastered, I think that's the only hope. Like in a weird way, that's me advocating for more remasters. Like
yeah, and I think some of the exceptions, but you don't know those exceptions until they happen, is things where it's like it is an online base game with a server that can shut down and basically be nothing, but if that game provides single player content like Fortnite, it's worth still buying.
Yeah.
But I'm really talking about the ones where it's the Mags and the Warhawks and the Defiances that don't
Exclusively
even
online.
load.
Yeah.
They don't even do anything. You'd be lucky if your PlayStation can even read it. It's just like, oh god, what is this?
I mean,
get it out.
Hell, half of them you push start and it just like crashes. You'll see. Watch the YouTube. But this was a little bit of eye opening for me because I'm like, my argument. You've heard me on here talking about like, hey, I'm good. I can play in the future. Like, can you? For how much longer? I think it's a little more eye opening than I realized when I was even doing research for this episode. I was like, dude, Evolve's a perfect example. So like, played the shit out of it when it came out. I tried to go free to play and it just didn't get any ground. I remember there being a campaign and I was like, okay, at least the campaign's still here. Like, I have fond memories playing that game with Sherry, playing with Nate.
Right.
And I was like, I'll get some of that back. Dude, it's so lifeless. It's like it's literally just like a straight line. You chase the monsters the whole time. I don't know if you remember the game or not. The premise of the game was
I remember it. It was one of the earlier 1v4 games or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty early example.
It was either the first or the second one that really took off.
Yeah. But like, there's nothing there. It's just like a shell, and it's just depressing. Like, capturing the footage, I was like, God, what a slog. I would never want to play that campaign again.
Yeah.
And I have great memories of being like, oh, Sherry is this monster. She's hiding. Like, let's go find her. And, dude, it was eye-opening.
There's a lot. Especially dead games in this kind of era now. That's why I've turned so heavily toward older, where I'm focusing more on, cardboard now. Being a little picky and choosy about it. And I'm trying to be like, okay, here's one big game that I've wanted to pick up. But, and I'll still go out there, obviously buy PS4 and PS5 games.
Right.
But if I'm spending my money on something substantial, it's not really me picking up a collector's edition for a game that just came out now. It's buying that Guilty Gear on the PS1 that I don't have. Like, that's kind of where I'm looking, where it's like, I want to fill in the old stuff that I'm still looking for, rather than dumping all my money on the stuff that's going to drop in price in 3 months. Mm-hmm. So I'm being a lot more selective now. And I want to, get my butt bit when I spend $70 on a Destiny 2 and then come back 10 years later and be like, well, shit.
I mean, other than the lulz, there's a reason why I just collect very specific stupid shit, like import fishing games or shit like that. It's cheap. Like, I'm not going to lose my ass on $3.
Right.
But like you're saying, I'm going to pick up Doom the Dark Ages Collector's Edition. That's different. It's a single-player game, though, also.
But it's also Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's obviously exceptions. Like, I don't buy the physical collector's editions of the Final Fantasy 14 expansions. I don't. If I find the statues later, sure, but they end up being expensive. I'm just like so less inclined. Like if they came out with a Marvel Rivals collector's edition that wasn't anything substantial, there'd be no reason for me to buy that game.
I would get it because
okay,
Marvel.
cool, I got a steelbook or whatever.
It's definitely changed my thought process a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like every game is connected to. I can't think of a single game from this era where it's like, oh, you're installing it, and then it's like, hey, it requires an update. I can't think of a single game where it's like all the data's on the disc. Which also leads me to the next point, a website.
I mean, the last one that I know absolutely advertised it was Baldur's Gate 3.
Really?
When they printed it, they said it's going to be 100% playable offline.
Goddamn, that's
obviously,
awesome.
like, since that game has physically released, they've released new patches. And it's not so much bug fixes anymore, because I think they wanted to wait to get it to a point where it was super stable enough to print it and say it's 100% ready to go in any shape, way, or form.
Yeah.
But the new updates were just kind of like quality of life improvements and maybe some new extra things. I think they waited for the new epilogues to come in before they released the physical one, but that's the last one where they advertised it as like you pop it in and you could play it.
It's really
and
cool.
You don't need the internet.
That's what a crazy concept, huh? That's unfortunate, man.
Larian doing things logical that people want.
But it's crazy they're on like an island by themselves doing that.
I
Like,
know.
let that sink in for a minute. But one last thing of note I want to talk
Wizards of
about.
the Coast? Firing them? I'm sorry.
No, something interesting I'll talk about. So, the first time I remember modern times this affected me is when the crew shut down.
I don't know if you remember. That was a big deal.
So the whole thing was like it's a big online only game
ones.
and it's a pizza cutter, and Ubisoft actually got sued in Europe for it. But there was a group of fans who were pretty irate about it, and they actually started a website called doesitplay.org.
Yep.
And I think what they're doing is pretty cool. It's a fan-driven thing where basically it's like 6 people that test out a game, see how much data is actually on the disc, whether you need an install, whether it requires a patch to play. It's a pretty good little resource, pretty cool little tool to mess around with. I'm not going to harp on the setup too much, but it's a user-made thing. It's free, like good for them. I will say use your computer to do it. It does not like to work on mobile. But
yeah, I was trying to look through it, and I was like, how do I filter? What's going on?
It's cool because they're doing a lot of more like recent releases, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier. That's, in my opinion, what they need to start with. And it literally just started them raging from about the crew. And it's like, when's this going to happen again? Like,
yeah, I actually didn't know about LA Noire until I saw it on that site.
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting, man. So yeah, basically they have it filtered by whether you can play offline or there are downloads required, how much of the data is actually on the cart. And somewhere they have percentage of like all the games. Let me try to find this. I'm on my phone.
And it's definitely not like
here it is.
100% library. There is some stuff on there that I went to search and they just hadn't gotten to it yet.
Which, I mean, they've been pretty good about updating on their Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it's called now. That's where they do a lot of their uploadings, and eventually they put it on the site. But it's literally just 6 volunteers, like, let's see how much there's on here. So right now they're saying that out of all the games they've tested, 93% of them have offline play. A definitive no, there's only 4%. That's out of 2,540 entries, and for a download required for it to actually work and function the way it's supposed to is 10%, which is lower than I thought. But also, you've got to account the games they've actually picked, the games they've chosen. Let's pull it up by Series X and Xbox One, just because I'm curious. Or PS4. Yeah, they've done 1,000 PS4 games, 50 Series X, Xbox One games, and it just crashed. But yeah, it's interesting too because they're doing.
Look, it's just 6 dudes, all right.
Yeah.
You can't be too.
I'm not mad at them at all. Like this is really cool, and they accept donations and stuff to keep the site running. If you guys want to look into that, but I think the way they test it's really interesting because they're testing the same game on multiple consoles because they are different. But they actually take the platform they're looking at, they freshly install the game. Ideally, they use a local profile that's not being connected to any online services. So that's like PlayStation Network, EA Origin, Bethesda.net, Battle.net, blah, blah, blah. At the very least, they try to play the main gameplay mode, beat the campaign, and complete as much side content as possible. So it does take time. They're actually deep diving into the game. It's pretty cool. And then they try to put the game under like stress situations, right? For like trying to find longer load times or create graphical disruptances or effects to see if it crashes. They take notes of any bugs, missing content, mandatory downloads, glitches. It's really cool, man. They're also looking at different regions for the games. So different versions, standard versus game of the year, blah, 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 blah. So it's pretty cool what they're doing. And the breakdown really quick for offline play, it gets a yes if the game does not depend on any online check-ins, permanent internet connection, and or online accounts. It gets a yes with an asterisk if the game is mainly online focused but has some offline functionality. Example, small campaign, offline bot matches. And if the game is generally enjoyable offline, but some minor features require internet connection. So like trophies, leaderboards, that sort of thing. Definitive no is all game modes are online only. There's no significant online gameplay modes. Game requires a permanent internet connection for whatever reason. Automatically gets a no. So pretty interesting, man. I think it's a great idea. I think a lot of these companies should take notes. I don't think they fucking care. It's the biggest issue.
I think they're taking notes. I think the combination of Concord this year being an utter fucking disaster.
Oh, it's going to change shit, I think.
And then Marvel Rivals being an utter fucking success in the same space.
Yeah.
They're taking notes on some things.
I will say, I think the games as a service is what's contributed the most to this being an issue.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I mean, Ubisoft's been talking about Assassin's Creed live service game for years, and we still haven't even seen that. And, like, I can tell you right now, they make shit games.
what's the thing? Like
they make shit games now.
Ubisoft's in trouble. Like they're looking for buyers.
They're in trouble.
Everything on Assassin's Creed.
All of their games right now too require updates.
Yeah.
They don't function on day one ever.
They can't afford a miss right now, and that's why they're not.
That's why they keep
launching
pushing back
Assassin's
Creed.
Yeah, which is, I mean, take notes.
When was it? It's supposed to come out already, right?
Oh yeah, it was twice. It's supposed to come
And
out
it got
in February.
pushed back because it didn't want to compete with something supposedly.
Well, Monster Hunter.
No, I think it was Elden Ring.
Oh,
And
so they
the
brought it
Elden
closer.
Ring expansion.
When's that
right?
come out?
I think it was last fall.
Huh. Oh, the expansion, not the
Yeah, the expansion.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to come out in
right?
like
Was it the
December,
fall?
November for holiday, and then they pushed it back to February, and now it's delayed to March.
I could be wrong about that.
No, I think you're right. Tree. I can't think of the name. I want to say Tree something. Tree of Might.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy XIV's new update was supposed to come out, but they pushed it back a week because they were like, we want to play Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're going to push the expansion back 1 week because we want to play it because it's fun, and we all know you guys want to play it too. We'll still release it.
Right.
But that being said, like, I don't think Assassin's Creed is getting pushed back to not compete. I think that they are.
I think they're cleaning it up.
I think it's fucked up.
Yeah, and they're like, we need a winner. Like, this has to win.
I think it's fucked up.
We'll see.
Their company relies on this game.
I'm picking it up day one because Sherry wants to play it, and I'm let her be my guinea pig and be like, tell me everything.
I liked Valhalla up until it turned into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so...
Yeah.
You know, if they release a game called Shadows and then it turns into Assassin's Creed Shadows, I probably won't like it, but it's just the state of the games if they want to survive. Like, Valhalla came out and then it was $20 like 2 months later.
Yeah.
That's how I got it. It was on sale for $20. I'm like, did you guys sell enough copies or like why?
I bought it day one with my Series X, Look at me.
Did you play it?
Nope.
You need to stop buying games, play one.
I picked up that and like a Dragon Yakuza.
You played that?
Nope. But I mean, I'm going to. It's
Look,
Yakuza.
here's the thing. When Monster Hunter comes out, because we have a show that weekend.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing meth or something to stay up and play it.
Well, I don't know. So I don't know if I'm going to get mine on Friday.
I'm going to definitely go pick mine up on Friday after work.
Knowing Best Buy, I'm going to get fucked.
So I pre-ordered it in store at GameStop.
I know you did.
It's the first time I've done that in years, dude.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, Steelbook? Sure, why not?
But that one, we're breaking the curse and you're going to play it.
Yeah. No, definitely, yeah. I've changed my ways a lot since the launch of the console. But I mean, shit like this episode, it's part of the reason why. I can't say it's the main reason why.
It's
main
just
reason
like,
why my backlog's
it's just
too
like
fucking
holding
big.
a plate with the little like metal cover and you take the metal cover off and you're like, reminder.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. But no, it is interesting too. Like, I know Sony's big strategy, they were going to do a lot of like live service games, and for it sounds like they're cutting back. And I know they canceled like the Last of Us live service game.
Good.
They canceled. Who was working on it? Marathon's pretty much the only one they haven't canceled. Which
This shit ain't coming out.
I hope it does, and I hope it's good. But You gotta think that it's Bungie doing it. They know what the fuck they're doing in the space, so I'm not too worried
Yeah,
about
but
that
people
one.
are going to be like, it's not Halo.
What the fuck was the other one? There's one that was actually kind of interesting they canceled. I don't remember what the fuck it was. It's driving me crazy.
It's not Halo and it sucks. It's not Halo on the Xbox.
The God of War one, Jesus Christ. Yeah, apparently they were working on a God of War live service game and they ended up canceling it. So another one I think
Things nobody wanted.
yeah, nobody asked for it. Like we want a single player God of War, especially now with the last two.
What the fuck would you do in a live service God of War game? Everyone's Kratos?
Just walk around the map and fight shit.
Who are you though?
Collect shit that doesn't matter.
Some fucking NPC and then maybe
grind towards a level that doesn't mean anything.
You know what? Here's my pitch for the God of War game that actually would be fun, right? Live service God of War game. Everyone's a shitty fucking NPC soldier that's trying to do their best, and then all of a sudden Kratos comes out and just beats the shit out of you.
It's like Dynasty Warriors.
It's PvE battle royale, but you all have to survive like last man standing Kratos.
Make it like the events in Defiance, where it's just like a big one, and it's like 1,000 dudes. Just
fucking chains whipping around. It's reverse Dynasty Warriors, dude. Like that's what it's gonna be. We're all the NPCs.
Look, my biggest hope is hopefully these companies learn their
Nope.
lesson. And then like the success of Baldur's Gate. What are y'all doing, bro? Like there's a perfect example.
Not
but
learning.
I think in the future it is really scary, honestly. This isn't gonna get any better. Like if you're collecting console from this generation up, we're fucked eventually. It's just a ticking time bomb of when. It's interesting, Phil Spencer had an interview today and he was basically saying like, you guys don't have to worry about that. You guys are good as far as your digital libraries are concerned, but they also said they're never going to close a 360 store and look what happened there. So
yeah, you guys are also never getting Elder Scrolls at this point. That's never happening.
I think that they just announced today they're doing like a Make-A-Wish NPC.
Make-A-Wish NPC.
Yep. So like they're working on it. The kid
They're sure. Wow, look, community mods.
Yeah, it's like, look, this kid's dying.
They can't even hire writers for NPCs, and then you fucking Make-A-Wish people to invent their NPCs
dead
for
kids
them.
we can like do something with.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
They're not even on community servers yet, and they're already taking Jesus.
You ain't gonna be able to play it. You gotta feel like he's gonna die first before it comes out.
Wow, I cannot believe that. Make-A-Wish NPC.
Yep.
They said, "Hey guys, we're gonna cloak our need for a writer to create an interesting NPC with helping children."
Your grandkids will get to play it though.
Holy shit!
Yeah, but it's interesting, man. It's funny that this has kind of come up. Like even I saw that today, so I don't know, man. Future for the hope. I mean, hope for the future is really bleak, honestly, on this topic. And like even just I randomly found this topic and I was like, this is interesting. Like this will make a good conversation, but it's got me more worried than anything. Like I don't feel good about the future at all. At least I'm getting older. I'll be dead soon, I guess. Won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so I mean, like sort of similarly on the same topic, but opposite. There's a video by Redline on YouTube called "Exploring Dead Games," and he goes through, and there are games that are physically still operational.
Oh, I've watched this shit.
But there's like nobody in there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to go through and see, and some of them actually aren't working anymore, or he was able to like somehow get it to load. A lot of it's PC stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting to see some of those like dead games that they're just like, why is this still on life support? The one where it was like a scratch that, I can't even remember. One of the games was supposedly one of them was somethingworld.com, where it was being kept online because the guy owns the copyright to like some bullshit. God damn it, what was that? Hold on.
I don't know. I saw one of them that he did. I saw was interesting. It was like games that were super popular at one point in time, but they have like a small dedicated community. There's only like 20 players playing it on Steam, and then he would jump in there and be like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, what's going on here?" It gives me hope. Kind of like we were talking about the community servers and stuff. I think PC probably has the best chance just because there's more people out there playing it and mod support and all that. But scary future for console collectors, man. Let me tell you.
Okay, so I can't remember exactly what which video that Redline had mentioned it in, but Worlds.com is one of those like dead game internet games where it was essentially made as like just kind of like a virtual chat gallery where like you can set rooms up and talk to people and like an online avatar game. But the guy who made it, I guess, copyrighted something so fucking vague, like copyrighted like virtual online. that anytime any other game uses it, he sues them to get some of the money. But in order to keep the copyright on it, he has to have something online.
Holy shit.
So I think that's why Worlds Online is still on, to like keep that copyright, because like they've sued Blizzard, Microsoft, Bungie.
Has he won?
I don't know if he's won any of them. I think. No, he sued Activision Blizzard, and it claimed that World of Warcraft and Call of Duty infringed on its patents, and a judge ruled in favor of Blizzard.
Okay. Damn, he's still trying?
Still trying. Here's one from 2020 there. He sued Microsoft in relating to Minecraft. Infringing on the world's U.S. patent number 8082501 titled System and Method for Enabling Users to Interact in a Virtual Space.
Fuck out of here.
So that one is really interesting to me. I had never heard about that until I watched that video. So he's got some really interesting ones on like dead games, but I would check those out if you're very curious. But once I heard about the patents, I was like, I'm like, this is the pettiest person on the planet, and it's so funny.
Hats off to that level of pettiness. I aspire to be that petty, but yeah, that's crazy.
Like it's not a game where you can't download it. I think it has to be like it's on a website where you can play it within the browser.
Oh yeah, so it's browser-based.
Something like that.
Interesting.
But just that one was really funny when I found out about that. And it came out in when did this game come out? 1995.
So it's like HTML, Jesus.
So I don't know what else Worlds Inc. is doing, if they're even a thing still.
It's just a lawyer dude
just one guy fucking life supporting it.
It's crazy. Say, in conclusion, guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comments on YouTube, or on our Discord, or on the socials. Are these games collectible? Is it the best argument that physical copies don't matter? What's it mean for the future? Let us know. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hey, Brian, what's next? Forgot we switched the order up.
Hey, Brian, what's next?
Next, is it worth it? It's a timely one because of a game that's coming out later this year. The game coming out later this year is Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta. But that's not what we're asking, is it worth it? I wanted to start at the roots. I wanted to start on the NES version of Metal Gear. Is it worth it? I guess you'll have to watch and listen to find out. But that's what's next.
Snake!
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Break the glass ceiling. Stay pressed.
Ching.